It was a bitter March evening in New York. The kind of night where steam curled out of manholes and taxis sprayed puddles across Fifth Avenue. But inside the late wire studio, the cold stayed firmly outside. The audience inside was electric, buzzing with anticipation. Even the stage crew moved like they were bracing for something bigger than just another celebrity interview. The red light blinked. Going live in 3, 2, 1. Cue the theme music. Cue the applause. Host Miles Braxton, ever the showman, leaned forward with his trademark grin. Tonight's guest needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. He builds rockets, reinvents industries, and tweets like a man with no PR filter. Please welcome the one and only, Elon Musk. The room exploded. Cheers erupted as Elon walked out, his presence calm but charged, like an engine idling before liftoff. He shook Miles' hand and eased into the guest chair with a small nod to the audience. Welcome, Elon, Miles said, adjusting his mic. First off, I gotta ask, how do you even fit in a day? You're running Tesla, SpaceX, X, Neuralink, and God knows what else. Do you even sleep? Elon smiled slightly, the kind that said he'd heard the question before but still enjoyed it. Sometimes, but not much. I sleep where I fall. The audience chuckled. Miles leaned in. Okay, walk us through it. You're building rockets that land themselves. You're manufacturing electric cars at scale when no one thought it could be done. Neural implants, Mars colonization. At what point do you look in the mirror and say, yeah, I've done enough? Elon shook his head slowly. I don't think that point exists. If you know how to solve a problem and you choose not to, that's a kind of moral failure, isn't it? Miles raised an eyebrow. Heavy? Yeah, so I keep going. They moved through the usual hits. Tesla's expansion into India, the latest Starship test, his plan to turn X into an everything app. The audience hung on every word. Musk wasn't a conventional speaker, but there was a rawness to his answers, a sense that he wasn't playing the media game. He was rewriting it. Then Miles changed gears. Well, speaking of media, let's talk about this voice recording. The mood shifted. Lights dimmed just a little. The air seemed to tighten. Miles tapped the desk with a fingertip. Yesterday, a leaked audio clip allegedly featuring Vice President JD Vance went viral. In it, the voice, which sounds a whole lot like Vance, accuses you of subverting the American identity and posing as a national savior. You heard it? Elon's expression didn't change. I did. And? I don't know if it's real. Could be AI. The tech is there. And ironically, I helped build it. But let me say this. People don't fake nothing. If a clip sounds believable, it's probably because the person in question has already planted seeds of that belief. The room stirred. Someone in the front row let out a quiet, "Wow." Elon went on, his tone cool but unflinching. I've been accused of not being a real American more times than I can count. But what does that even mean? I came here legally. I built businesses here. I pay taxes. Billions of dollars in taxes. I created jobs, sparked industries. Meanwhile, people who've done nothing but play politics sit in marble buildings, pretending to own patriotism. Now the studio was dead silent. The tension was a taut wire. I'm not the one faking it, Elon continued. I'm not the one whose every move is shaped by poll numbers and backroom donors. If anything, I'm more American than half the people sitting in Washington, because I built things. Miles raised his hand slightly, almost like a referee. So you're saying JD Vance, or whoever made that recording, is the fake? I'm saying, Musk replied, voice steely, that the throne Trump built, the one that shook the system, is under siege. And now Everyone wants to wear the crown, even his so-called allies. There were audible gasps. Some in the audience clapped. Others stayed frozen, unsure if what they were watching was performance or prophecy. Miles swallowed. And the boycotts? The ones aimed at Tesla, SpaceX, X? People pulling out left and right after some of your recent posts? Elon gave a short laugh. It wasn't warm. Boycotts are theater. Rich people pretending they're rebels. They want to cancel me while still using my products, living in a world I helped create. They want the innovation, just not the truth that comes with it. He turned, addressing the audience now. I didn't come here to be liked. I came here to build the future. If that makes me the villain to people who prefer a scripted reality, fine. But don't call it patriotism when it's just cowardice. Then he stood. Without warning, his voice boomed through the studio. I'm not afraid of anyone in Washington. Not Biden. Not Vance. Not the echo chamber. You want to cancel me? Try. Just know, you're going to need a bigger hashtag. The crowd erupted. Some rose to their feet, cheering wildly. Others were too stunned to move. Miles blinked, looked at the camera, and said, I think we just made history. The energy in the studio was no longer polite curiosity. It was volatile, like a chemical reaction waiting for one more drop. Miles leaned back in his chair, adjusting his earpiece, knowing the conversation had officially entered the danger zone. You know, Elon, he said carefully, some folks online are saying this whole thing, the speech, the fire, the timing, feels calculated. That you're not just defending yourself, you're auditioning for something bigger. Musk gave a short chuckle, eyes narrowed. You mean the Oval Office? A few people in the crowd murmured. Some laughed. Others froze. Miles nodded. It's what people are saying. Elon didn't blink. Let me be very clear, he said calmly. I don't want to be president. I don't need the job. I can do more for this country outside the bureaucracy than inside it. Someone in the audience called out, Then why are you acting like Trump 2.0? Heads turned. A man in his 40s, red flannel shirt, arms crossed, stared hard at Musk. Talking like him, stirring people up, defending him every chance you get. Sounds like you're either angling for power or kissing the ring. A sharp breath moved through the room. Musk turned toward the man, expression unchanged. I don't kiss anyone's ring, he said, tone even. And I don't stir people up. I wake them up. There's a difference. More murmurs. The man didn't back down. You're just another rich guy playing hero. Musk nodded slowly, then replied, I am rich, and I've used that wealth to build things no one else dared to. Name one other billionaire who's taken on the auto industry, aerospace, and social media, not for profit, but to push the limits of what we can do. The man was silent. The audience applauded, some loud, some tentative. Miles stepped back in. All right, let's talk about Tesla, he said. You've been under fire lately. Some people are calling for boycotts. Former fans, environmental activists, even Hollywood types pulling endorsements. Do you regret anything you've said? Anything you've done? Musk exhaled through his nose, thoughtful but not shaken. Regret? No. Disappointment, maybe. Not in what I've said, but in how quickly people abandon principles for politics. He glanced across the audience. Let's be honest. Most of the people calling for boycotts are still driving Teslas, still using Starlink, still tweeting from X. You don't boycott me. You perform it, online for attention. And that's the real sickness. Another voice from the left side of the stage, a woman this time, called out. So, you're the victim now? Elon turned, locking eyes. No, I'm not a victim. I'm a builder. And in this country, builders are becoming an endangered species. We don't celebrate those who create anymore. We dissect them. We wait for them to make one wrong move, then drag them for sport. Silence. You want perfect leaders? He asked. Go to fiction. You want real progress? You're going to have to tolerate real people. Miles, clearly impressed, leaned forward again. Can I ask you something personal? Elon gave a small nod. Are you afraid? Not of critics, not of politicians, but of where all this goes? Of what you're becoming in the eyes of the public? Elon was quiet for a moment. Then, I'm not afraid of becoming something. I'm afraid of becoming nothing, of being someone who had the power to change things and chose comfort instead. He paused, scanning the room. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. I didn't build rockets and electric cars and satellite networks so I could coast on a yacht. I built them because the world needed shaking. And it still does. The studio was frozen, breathless. Someone in the back whispered, "Damn!" A woman in the front row wiped a tear from her cheek, though she couldn't quite say why. And then Elon stood again, slowly, this time with less fury, more weight. I didn't come here to start a movement, he said. But if what I said tonight makes someone, somewhere, think a little harder, then maybe that's enough. He turned to Miles, extended his hand. Thanks for the seat. The audience stood. Not all of them clapped, but many did. Loudly, relentlessly. Some hesitated, then joined in. Others simply stared, processing what they'd just witnessed. Miles, smiling with a mix of awe and alarm, leaned into the camera. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Elon Musk, and this might just be a turning point. Fade to black. The show had barely ended when the internet imploded. Clips of Elon's explosive interview flooded every platform, cut into 30-second bites and shared at light speed. But it wasn't just the usual fan accounts or tech bros spreading the message. It was everyone. People who never even bought a Tesla or followed politics were suddenly pulled into the storm. On X, formerly Twitter. Within minutes, the term JD Vance trended worldwide, not for something he had done, but for what he hadn't. Respond. Musk's fiery quote, "You're going to need a bigger hashtag," was instantly memed, painted on digital American flags, turned into wallpapers and t-shirt mock-ups by fan artists. But the real wildfire came from the replies and retweets. I don't care what you think of Elon Musk. What he said tonight, that was raw truth. JD Vance better come out with a full statement or resign. That audio sounded very real. It's insane that a South African immigrant is defending American values better than our elected officials. I didn't like Musk before tonight. Now, he's the only one telling it like it is. Vance's silence is deafening. Makes you wonder. On TikTok, creators jumped on the story with lightning speed. Dozens of split-screen reaction videos surfaced, showing people gasping, clapping, even tearing up at Musk's words. The most viral video featured a Vietnam War vet watching the segment and saying, "That man just spoke more patriotism in 10 minutes than I've heard in 20 years. Another user, a college student, uploaded a lip-synced reenactment of the line, "If you think I'm the villain, fine. I built this future," while walking in slow motion under dramatic lighting. Within hours, the clip had 6.7 million likes. On YouTube, political commentators rushed to upload their takes. Titles flooded the homepage. Elon Musk just declared war on Washington. Did JD Vance just get dismantled by a billionaire? This changes 2028. Musk's words spark movement. Even traditionally left-leaning voices like Hassan Piker and the Young Turks acknowledged that Musk had shifted the Overton window. On Reddit, a mega-thread formed on r/politics politics with over 80,000 upvotes in 4 hours. One of the top comments read, "I'm a Democrat. I don't like Elon's politics, but tonight he sounded more grounded and honest than anyone we've got running. That scares me a little. Another user chimed in. The fact that JD Vance hasn't posted even a "that's fake" tweet is telling. Something's up. On Facebook and Instagram, Facebook exploded with long, heartfelt posts from veterans, small business owners, and even suburban parents. One viral story showed a mother of 3 who wrote, "I don't know much about tech or politics, but what Elon said about building something for your country, that hit me. I've been waiting for someone to say these things out loud." Instagram stories were filled with quotes from the episode, American flags, crying emoji reactions, and calls for Vance to respond. In the newsrooms, every major outlet scrambled to catch up. CNN and MSNBC ran urgent segments about the Musk monologue. Fox News aired it twice in 1 hour, with Tucker Carlson calling it the most powerful cultural moment since Trump's escalator ride. In the White House, no official statement, yet. But sources told Politico that an emergency comms team had been assembled overnight. One aide allegedly called the situation a Category 5 narrative disaster. By dawn, a strange and powerful consensus had formed, not political, not even fully ideological, but emotional. People felt it, that something had cracked, shifted, that maybe Elon Musk wasn't just a tech mogul anymore. He had said the unsayable, with no teleprompter, no script, and no fear. And now, all eyes were on JD Vance, and the country held its breath.